Today, we will be discussing the emergency continuum, rethinking emergency nursing from episodic treatment to navigating the patient's lifelong trajectory. The ED is a high-speed waypoint, not the final destination. Roughly 10% of patients are admitted and transferred to inpatient units. The other 90% are discharged, re-entering the community directly from our care. That means the vast majority of emergency patients rely entirely on the efficacy of our discharge planning to survive and recover outside our walls. This is a paradigm shift from an episodic mindset to a continuum mindset. The episodic approach treats the chief complaint and empties the bed, views discharge as an administrative endpoint, and measures success by time to disposition. The continuum mindset ensures a safe, sustainable transition of care, assesses holistic vulnerabilities and baseline functional status, treats discharge as the critical beginning of community recovery, and measures success by prevention of avoidable readmission. Discharge should be structured as an active clinical intervention, a teachable moment that transforms an administrative task into a vital lifestyle intervention. The medium has to break barriers to understanding. Verbal, written, video, and pre-printed formats, adapted with large print, braille, audio tape, or interpreters as needed. The message has to be legible, simple, and unequivocally clear, covering medications, diet modifications, activity limits, ongoing treatments, follow-up logistics, and prevention counseling. Frequent ED use for non-urgent problems is heavily driven by systemic gaps in outpatient care, so we have to bridge that gap deliberately. Pre-discharge alignment means initiating social worker and home health referrals before the patient leaves, essential for older adults and patients with disabilities. Facility sync means direct communication protocols with long-term care facilities and community agencies. And the modern extension is mobile integrated health and community paramedicine, which carries ED-level oversight directly into the home. Standardized discharge protocols fail complex patients. That 10% admitted, 90% discharged reality becomes highly volatile once you apply it to populations with real physiological and psychosocial complexity. We need to anticipate specific failure points for two critical profiles, the gerontologic patient and the bariatric patient. The gerontologic profile is about masked acuity and heightened vulnerability. Above the waterline, what presence looks nonspecific: weakness, fatigue, incontinence, subtle mental status changes. Below the waterline is the hidden reality: masked serious acute illness, atypical clinical presentations, altered physiological responses, and exponentially higher complication risk. Triage is the waterline. What you see is rarely the whole picture. Anticipatory routing for the older adult rests on three actions: psychosocial anchoring, addressing the profound fear of losing independence or of death with active reassurance; specialized deployment, mandating early referrals to social services and gerontologic nurse specialists to orchestrate a complex transition; and resource mapping, assessing social and financial support systems on arrival, not at the point of discharge. For the bariatric profile, physical logistics dictate clinical outcomes. Rising obesity rates change ED care parameters at every level. Airway and breathing, difficult IV and airway access, hypoventilation, and sleep apnea carry risk of respiratory failure, ARDS, and pneumonia. Excess adipose tissue alters pharmacology. Lipophilic drug distribution means dosing errors unless you calculate by ideal body mass. And equipment limitations. Poor X-ray penetration, restricted mobility, raise risk of AKI, DVT, and pressure injury. Preventive bariatric care requires proactive logistics. Specialized gowns, specific CT scanner limits, high-capacity stretchers, and dedicated transport equipment all need to be secured on arrival, not improvised later. And zero-hour interventions matter immediately. Early backboard removal, aggressive respiratory care, and scheduled turning, coughing, and deep breathing exercises, starting the moment the patient is placed, to prevent pressure injury and respiratory collapse. Laying the geriatric and bariatric profiles side by side shows exactly where standard protocols break down. Clinical presentation, atypical and masked versus anatomically obscured. Pharmacology, altered systemic clearance versus lipophilic tissue requiring ideal body mass dosing. ED logistics, psychosocial support needs versus high capacity equipment and turning protocols, and discharge risk, loss of independence and unsupported home environments versus respiratory failure, DVT, and complex transfer requirements. Anticipatory planning is the only bridge across the continuum. The foundation layer is discharge planning initiated at minute 1, not at disposition. On top of that, sit the structural supports for our gerontologic and bariatric profiles, and above that, the surface layer of community paramedicine and social work recovery. For highly complex populations, waiting until disposition to plan discharge guarantees failure. We have to build the bridge to the community the moment they walk through our doors. To bring the continuum together, the ED is a temporary transitional phase, not the endpoint. With 90% of patients discharged, we have to capitalize on that teachable moment, bridge the gap with referrals, and ensure instructions are accessible to everyone. Layered on top of that are our specialized populations, identifying atypical geriatric symptoms like fatigue and incontinence, and mitigating obesity-related risks like respiratory failure and DVT. Whether it's the general ED population, older adults facing falls and atypical presentation, or patients needing social work and home health referrals, the same principle holds. Safe discharge planning that starts the moment the patient arrives is what carries them safely beyond the ED and home.